He will not force
Hither, in days of yore, from Spain or France came a dread sorceress, her name Romance. O'er Britain's isle her wayward spells she cast, and common sense in magic chain bound fast. In mad sublime did each fond lover woo, and in heroics run each billet doux. High deeds of chivalry their sole delight, each fair a maid distressed, each swain a knight. Then might Statira Orondates see, at tilts and tournaments, armed cap a pay, she too on milk-white palfrey, lance in hand, a dwarf to guard her, pranced about the land. The fiend to quell, his sword Cervantes drew, a trusty Spanish blade, Toledo true. Had talismans and magic wand he broke, knights, genii, castles, vanished into smoke. But now, the dear delight of later years, the younger sister of Romance appears. Less solemn is her air, her drift the same, and novel her enchanting, charming name. Romance might strike our grave forefathers' pomp, but novel for our buck and lively romp. Cassandra's folios now no longer read, see two neat pocket volumes in their stead. And then, so sentimental is the style, so chaste yet so bewitching all the while, plot and elopement, passion, rape and rapture, the total sum of every dear, dear chapter. 'Tis not alone the small talk and the smart, 'tis novel most beguiles the female heart. Misreads, she melts, she sighs, love steals upon her, and then, alas, poor girl, good night, poor honour.
Oh, well said, Sir George. Oh, dear, dear man. But so, with these words, the enraptured baronet concluded his declaration of love. But what heart can imagine, what tongue describe, what pen delineate the amiable confusion of Amelia? Well, now for it. Reader, if thou art a courtly reader, thou hast seen at polite tables ice cream crimsoned with raspberries. Or if thou art an uncourtly reader, thou hast seen the rosy-fingered morning dawning in the golden east. Dawning in the golden east. Oh, very pretty. Thou hast seen, perhaps, the artificial vermilion on the cheeks of Cleora, or the vermilion natural on those of Sylvia. Thou hast seen, in a word, the lovely face of Amelia was overspread with blushes. Oh, this is the most beautiful passage, I protest. Oh, novel for my money. Lord, my stupid papa has no taste, no notion of humour or character or sensibility of delicate feeling. And then mamma, but where was I? Overspread with blushes. So George, touched at her confusion, gently seized her hand and softly pressing it to his bosom, where the pulses of his heart beat quick, throbbing with tumultuous passion, in a plaintive tone of voice, breathed out, "Will you not answer me, Amelia?" Oh, tender creature! She, half raising her downcast eyes, half inclining her averted head, said in faltering accents, "Yes, sir?" Well now, gradually recovering with ineffable sweetness, she prepared to address her, when Mrs. Jenkinson bounced into the room, threw down a set of china in her hurry, and strewed the floor with porcelain fragments. Then, turning Amelia round and round, whirled her out of the apartment in an instant, and struck Sir George dumb with astonishment at her appearance. She raved, the baronet resuming his accustomed effrontery. I am glad to see you. Well, and how?
Well, chicken?
Oh, tell me this instant. Did you see him? Did you give him my letter? Did he write? Oh, will he come? Will I see him? Have you got the answer in your pocket? Has he?
Blessings on her. Our tongue runs.
Nay, but dear Nursey, tell me, what did he say?
Say? Why, he took the letter.
Well?
And kissed it 1,000 times, and read it 1,000 times,
Oh, charming.
and ran about the room and blessed himself, and heaven preserve us, cursed himself,
Very
and
fine, very fine.
vowed he was the most miserable creature upon earth and the happiest man in the world. And
Prodigiously fine, excellent. Oh, my dear Nursey. Come, give me the letter.
Letter, chicken? What letter?
The answer to mine. Come then.
I have no letter. He had such a preamble to write. By my troth, I could not stay for it. How soon you are affronted now? He said he'd send it sometime today.
Sometime today. I wonder now, how will he convey it? Will he squeeze it as he did the last into the chicken house in the garden? Or will he write it in lemon juice on a blank piece of paper and send it inside a book? Or will he throw it into the house enclosed in an orange? Or will he...
Heaven bless her! What a sharp wit she has!
I have not read so many books for nothing. Novels, now see, novels. A novel is the only thing to teach a girl life, the way of the world, and elegant fancies, and love to the end of the chapter.
Yes, you are always reading your simple storybooks. The Ventures of Jack this, and the History of Betsy t'other, and Sir Humphreys, and women with hard Christian names. You would better read your prayer book, chicken.
Well, and so I do, but I am reading this now. She raved. But the baronet... I really think I love Mr. Scribble as much as Amelia did Sir George. Do you think, Nursey, I should have had such a good notion of love early if I had not read novels? Did I not make a conquest of Mr. Scribble in a single night at dancing? But my cross papa will hardly ever let me go out. And then, I know life as well as if I had been in the beau monde all my days. I can tell of the masquerade as well as if I'd been to 20. Oh, I long for a mobbing scene in a 2-shilling gallery with Mr. Scribble. Or a snug little party a little way out of town in a post-chaise. And then... Oh, my mind is full of such intrigues and contrivances. Oh, Nursey, a novel is the only thing.
Contrivances? Aye, Mary, you have need of contrivances. Here are your papa and mamma, fully resolved to marry you to young Mr. Ledger, Mr. Simeon, the rich Jew's wife's nephew. And all the while, your head runs upon nothing but Mr. Scribble.
A fiddlestick for Mr. Ledger. I tell you what, Nursey, I will marry Mr. Scribble and not marry Mr. Ledger, whether papa and mamma choose it or no. And how do you think I'll contrive it?
How, chicken?
Why, don't you know?
No, indeed.
And you can't guess?
No, by my troth, not I.
Oh, Lord, it's the commonest thing in the world. I intend to elope.
Elope, chicken? What's that?
Why, in the vulgar phrase, run away.
Mercy on us, run away?
Yes, run away, to be sure. Why, there's nothing in that, you know. Every girl elopes when her parents are obstinate and ill-natured about marrying her. It was just so with Betsy Thompson and Sally Wilkins and Clorinda and Leonora in the History of Dick Careless and Julia in the Adventures of Tom Ramble and 50 others. Or did they not all elope? And so will I too. I have as much right to elope, for I have as much love and as much spirit as the best of them.
Why, Mr. Scribble's a fine man, to be sure, a gentleman, every inch of him.
So he is. A dear, charming man. Will you elope too, Nursey?
Not for the varsal world. Suppose now, chicken, your papa and mamma...
What care I for papa and mamma? Have they not been married and happy long enough ago? And are they not still coaxing and fondling and kissing each other all day long? Oh, where's my dear love? My beauty, says Papa, hobbling along on his crotch-headed crane with his gouty old legs. Ah, my sweeting, oh, my precious Mr. Honeycombe, do you love your known dear wife? Says Mamma, and then they squeeze their hard hands to each other and their old eyes twinkle. They're as loving as Darby and Joan, especially if Mamma has had a cordial or two. Eh, Nursey?
Oh, fine chicken.
And then, perhaps, in comes my utter aversion, Mr. Ledger, with his news from the Change and his Change Alley wit, and his 30%, and stocks have risen 1/2 and 3/8, and, oh, I tell you what, Nursey, they would make fine characters for a novel, the three of them.
Ah, you are a graceless bird. But I must go downstairs and watch if the coast's clear, in case of a letter.
But could you not go to Mr. Scribble's again after?
Again? Indeed, Miss Hotterpont.
Do now, my dear Nursey, pray do. And call at the circulating library as you go along for the rest of this novel, The History of Sir George Truman and Amelia, and tell the bookseller to be sure to send me British Amazon and Tom Fabble and the rest of the new novels this winter as soon as ever they come out.
Ah, pies on your naughty novels, I say.
I go now, dear Nursey, go. There's a good woman. What an old fool she is. With her pies on it and fried chicken and no by my troth. Lord, what a strange house I live in. There's not a soul in it except myself, but are all queer animals, droll creatures. There's Papa and Mamma and the old foolish nurse. Oh, Nursey, what brings you back so soon? What have you got there?
Mrs. Commode's prentice is below and has brought up your new cap and ruffles, chicken.
Let me see. Well, I swear this is a mighty pretty cap. Sweet pair of flying lappets, aren't they, Nursey? But what's this? A letter! Did I not tell you so? Let me see. Joy of my soul, our only hope, eternal bliss. The cruel blasts of coyness and disdain blow out the flame of love, but the virgin breath of kindness and compassion blows it in again. Oh, prodigious pretty, isn't it, Nursey?
Yes, that is pretty. But there's a deal there, Aunt. It's an old saying and a true one. The more there's said, the less there's done. Aye. They wrote other guest starter letters when I was a girl.
Lord, Nursey, if it was not for novels and love letters, a girl would have no use for her reading and writing. But what's here? Poetry. Well, I may cry out with Alonso in the Revenge. Where didst thou steal those eyes? From heaven? Thou didst, and his religion to adore them. Oh, excellent. Oh, dear man.
Aye, to be sure, but lest you forget your letter carrier below. She'll never bring you another if you don't speak kindly to her.
Speak to her? I'll give her 6pence, woman. Tell her I am coming. I will just read my letter over 5 or 6 times and then go to her. Oh, he is a charming man. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. He writes as well as Bob Lovelace. Oh, dear, sweet Mr. Scribble.
My dear?
What do you say, my love?
You take no notice of me. Lay by that silly paper. Put it down. Come and drink your tea. You don't love me now.
Oh, my beauty.
Oh, do you love your own dear wife?
Dearly, she knows it, don't you, my beauty?
Oh, your own dear man. He does love her, and he's her own husband, and she loves him most dearly and tenderly, that she does.
My beauty, I have a piece of news for you.
What is it, my sweetie?
The paper here says that young Tom Seaton of Aldersgate Street was married yesterday at Bow Church to Miss Fairley of Cornhill.
Oh, flaunting, flaring hussy. She, a husband.
But what does my beauty think of her own daughter?
A of our Polly, sweeting.
Aye, Polly, what sort of a wife do you think she'll make, my love? I concluded everything with Mrs. Simeon yesterday and expect Mr. Ledger every minute.
Oh, think, my sweeting. Why, I think if she loves him half so well as I do my own dear man, that she'll never suffer him out of her sight, that she'll look at him with pleasure and love him and kiss him and fondle him. Oh, my dear, it's impossible to say how much I love you.
Hey, Dad. What now, good folks? What now? Are you so much in arrears, or are you paying off principal and interest both at once?
My dear, consider Mr. Ledger is...
What signifies Mr. Ledger? He's one of the family, you know, my sweeting.
Aye, so I am. Never mind me, never mind me. Though, by the by, I should be glad of someone to make much of me, too. Where's Miss Polly?
That's right. Here, John. Where's Polly?
In her room, sir.
Tell her to come down here. And hark you, John, while Mr. Ledger stays, I am not at home to anybody else.
She's at home. Is that the way? Those your ways? No, if I was to give such a message to my servants, I should expect a commission of bankruptcy out against me the next day.
Ah, you men of large dealings. It was so with me when I was in business. But where's this girl? What can she be about? My beauty, do step yourself and send her here immediately.
I will, my sweeting.
Nay, my love, not now.
Why not now? Goodbye, my love. Mr. Ledger, your servant. Bye, dearest.
You see, Mr. Ledger, you see what you are come to. But I beg your pardon, I've quite forgot. Have you breakfasted?
Breakfasted, aye, 4 hours ago, and done 100 tickets since over a dish of coffee at Garraway's. Let me see. Bless my soul. 11 o'clock. No, I wish Miss would come. It's transfer day. I must be at the bank before 12, without fail.
Ah, here she comes. Come on, child, where have you been all this time? Well, sir, I'll leave you together. Polly, you. Your servant, Mr. Ledger. Your servant.
What a monster of a man. What will this frightful creature say to me? I am now, for all the world, in the situation of Clarissa, and the wretch is 10 times uglier than Soames himself.
Well, miss.
He speaks. What shall I say to him? Suppose I have a little sport with him. Well, I will indulge myself in a few airs of distant flirtation at first, and then I'll treat him like a dog. I'll use him worse than Nancy Howe ever did Mr. Hickman. Pray, sir, did you ever read the history of Amelia?
Not I, miss, not I. I have no time to think of such things. Not I. I hardly ever read anything except the Daily Advertiser and the list at Lloyd's. Nor write neither, except my own name, now and then. I keep a dozen clerks, for nothing in the world else but to write.
A dozen clerks? Oh, prodigious.
Aye, a dozen clerks. Business must be done, miss. We have large returns, and the balance must be kept on the right side, you know. In respect to the last year now, our returns from the 1st of January to the last of December, 59, were to the amount of £60,000 sterling. Now, we clear upon average at a rate of 12%, cast up the 12s. At 60,000, you may make a pretty good guess at our net profits.
Ooh, net profits?
I miss. Net profits. Simeon and Ledger are names as well known in any of the alley, and as good for as much at the bottom of a piece of paper. But no matter for that. You must know that I have an account to settle with you, miss. You're on the debtor side of my books, I can tell you, miss.
I? In your debt, Mr. Ledger?
Overhead and ears in my debt, miss.
I hate to be in debt of all things. Pray let me discharge you at once. for I cannot endure to be dunned.
Yeah, not so fast, miss. Right reckoning makes long friends. Now, suppose we should compound this matter and strike a balance in favour of both parties.
Well, how do you mean, Mr. Ledger?
Well, why then, in plain English, miss, I love you, I'll marry you. My Uncle Simeon and Mr. Honeycombe have settled the matter between them. I am fond of the match, and hope you are the same. That's the sum total.
Oh, Lord, this is so strange. Besides, is it possible that I can have any charms for Mr. Ledger?
Charms? Miss, you are all over charms. I like you. No, I like your person, your family, your fortune. No, I like you all together. The omniums. Eh, miss? I like the omniums and don't care how large the premium is I give for them.
Lord, sir.
Come, miss. Let's both set our hands to it, sign and seal the agreement without loss of time or hindrance of the business.
No, not so fast, sir. Not so fast. Right reckoning makes long friends, you know, Mr. Ledger.
Miss.
After so explicit and polite a declaration on your part, you will expect, no doubt, some suitable returns on mine.
To be sure, miss, to be sure. Aye, let's examine the per contra.
But what you have said, Mr. Ledger, has, I take it for granted, been very sincere.
Very sincere. Upon my credit, miss.
Well then, for my part, I must declare, however unwillingly...
Out with it, miss.
...that the passion that I entertain for you is equally strong.
Oh, brave.
And that I do with equal... Yes. Or with more sincerity.
Thank you, miss, thank you.
Hate and detest.
How?
Loathe and abhor.
What?
Your sight is shocking to me. Your conversation odious and your passion contemptible.
Mighty well, miss, mighty well.
You are a vile book of arithmetic. Table of pounds, shilling and pence. You are uglier than a figure of 8 and more tiresome than a multiplication table. There's the sum total.
Flesh and blood!
Don't talk to me. Get along. If you don't leave the room, then I will.
Very fine, miss, very fine. Mr. Honeycombe shall know this.
There he goes. I have out-topped them all. Miss Howe, Clarissa, Polly Barnes, Sophie Willis, all of them. None of them have ever treated an odious fellow with half so much spirit. That will make an excellent chapter in my new novel. Oh, but here comes Papa, in a violent passion, no doubt. No matter, it will only furnish materials for the next chapter.
What is the meaning, Mrs. Polly, of this extraordinary behaviour? How dare you treat Mr. Ledger so ill and behave so undutifully to your mamma and papa? You're a spoilt child. Your mamma and I have been too fond of you, but have a care, young madam. Mend your conduct, or you may be sure we'll make you repentant.
Lord, Papa, how can you be so angry with me? I am as dutiful girl in the world. But there's always uproar in the family about marrying the daughter, and now I must suffer in my turn.
Hark you, miss! Why did you not receive Mr. Ledger as your lover?
Lover? Oh, dear Papa, he has no more of a lover about him. He never so much as cast one languishing look in my direction, or pressed my hand, or struck his breast, or threw himself at my feet. Oh, Lord, I read such a delightful declaration of love this morning in a new novel. Papa, first Sir George Truman.
Devil take Sir George Truman! These cursed novels have turned my girl's head. Hark you, hussy. I could almost find it in my heart to... I say, hussy, isn't Mr. Ledger a husband of your mamma and papa's providing? And aren't they the very properest persons to dispose of you?
Dispose of me? See there, now. You have no notion of these things, Papa. Your head is so full of trade and commerce that you would dispose of your daughter like a piece of merchandise. But my heart is my own property and at my disposal. You would not consign me like a bale of silk to Ledger and Co. Eh, Papa?
Her impudence amazes me. Hark ye, hussy. You're an undutiful slut!
Not at all undutiful, Papa, but I hate Mr. Ledger. I cannot endure the sight of
This is
him.
beyond all patience. Harky, hussy,
Nay, no more. I will tell you the truth. My heart is devoted to another. I have an insuperable passion for him, and nothing shall shake my affection for dear Mr. Scribble.
Mr. Scribble? Who's Mr. Scribble? Harky, hussy, I'll turn you out of doors. I'll have you confined to your chamber. Get out of my sight. I'll have you locked up in this instant.
Locked up? I thought so. Whenever a poor girl refuses to marry any horrid creature her parents provide for her, she's bound to be locked up immediately. Oh, poor Clarissa. Poor Sophie Weston. I am now to be treated as you were before me.
These abominable books. Hark you, hussy. You shall have no novel to amuse you. Get along, I say. No pen and inks to scrawl letters. Why did you go? No, trusty companion. Get along. I'll have you locked up this instant, and the key of your chamber shall be in your mamma's custody.
Oh, indeed, Papa, you need not give Mamma so much trouble.
Get along, I say.
I have read of such things as ladders of ropes.
Out of my sight!
Or of escaping out of the window by tying sheets together.
Harky, hussy.
Or throwing oneself out of the street onto a feather bed.
I'll turn you out of doors.
Or being catched into a gentleman's arms.
Soon, son!
Oh!
Where you be going?
So, in this disguise, Mistress Nurse has brought me hither safe and undiscovered. But now for Miss Polly. Here's her letter, a true picture of her nonsensical self. To my dearest Mr. Scribble. And here, the seal, 2 doves billing with this motto, we two, when we woo, bill and coo. Pretty. And a plain proof that I shan't have much trouble with her. I'll make short work on't. I'll carry her off today, if possible, clap up a marriage at once, then down upon our marrow bones and ask pardon and blessing of Papa and Mamma. Here she comes.
Get on, I say, up to your own
The
chamber.
devil! Her father's coming with her. What shall I do? Where shall I hide myself? I'll get up the chimney. No, Zoons. They're just here. 10 to 1, that old huff will stay with... No, I'll pop into the closet.
Yeah, Mrs. Malapat, stay here, if you please, and chew the cud of disobedience and mischief in private.
Very well, Papa.
Very well. You're going sulky now, aren't you, hussy? You're a saucy minx, and it's not very well. I have a good mind to keep you upon bread and water this month. I'll say no more. I'll lock you up and carry the key to your mamma. She'll take care of you. You will have Mr. Scribble. Let's see how you can get on now.
And so I will have Mr. Scribble too. Do what you can, old square toes. I am provided with pen and ink and paper in spite of their teeth. I remember Clarissa had cunning drawers made on purpose to secure those things in case of accident. I am very glad I have had the caution to provide myself with the same implements of intrigue, though with a little more ingenuity. Indeed, now they make stand dishes and tea chests and dressing boxes in all sorts of shapes and figures, but mine are of my own invention. Here I've got an excellent inkhorn in my pincushion, and in case of pens and some paper, in my fan. I will write to Mr. Scribble immediately, and I shall certainly see him eavesdropping about the door at the first opportunity, and I'll toss it to him out of the window.
A clear coast, I find. The old codger's gone and locked me up with his daughter. So much the better. Pretty soul. What is she about? Writing. A letter to me, no doubt. I'll bet 10 to 1. I'll go and answer it in propria persona.
Me in your arms. Let me see, what have I written? My dearest, dear Mr. Scribble.
I thought so.
I am now writing in the most cruel confinement. Fly then. Fly to me on the wings of love. Release me from this horrid jail and imprison me into your arms.
That I will with all my heart. Ah! My dear, why do you scream so? I shall be discovered and blast the fortune.
Bless me! Is it you?
What the deuce shall I do? I'll run into the closet again.
No. He'll check the closet. Oh, Lord. Oh, he's just here. Get under the table. And lie still. Oh, Lord, what shall I say?
Oh, now, hussy, what's all this noise? What made you scream so violently?
Scream, Papa?
Scream, Papa! Aye, scream, hussy! What made you scream, I say?
Lord, Papa, I have never opened my lips, but have been in a philosophical reverie ever since you left me.
I'm sure I thought I heard. But how now, hussy? What's here? Pen, ink, and paper. Hark here, hussy, how came you by these? So, fine contrivances. And a letter, too, begun, cruel confinement, wings of love, your answer. You forward slut. But I'm glad I discovered this. I'll seize these movables, so. Now write if you can. Nobody shall come near you. Send to him if you can. Now see how Mr. Scribble will get at you. Now I have you safe, mistress. And now, now you may make love to the table.
And so I will. We'll turn the tables on you. Come, Mr. Scribble.
Here I am, my love. This is lucky.
Yeah.
And droll, too. Under the table. Oh, it's like making love in a pantomime. But, my dear, you should not have screamed so.
Oh, Lord, who thought of you? I am as much surprised as Sophie Weston when she saw Tom Jones in the looking glass. But what brought you here?
Love.
What put you into that habit?
You and love, my Polly dear. You, I wear your livery.
Oh, Lord, how well it becomes him. But why a livery, Mr. Scribble?
Only to carry on our affair more securely. A little amour in masquerade. Do you know me, miss?
Comical creature. But how did you get here?
Under this disguise, I pretended business to the nurse, and she brought me hither.
Admirable. Oh, this is a most charming adventure.
Isn't it?
And have you a sincere passion for me?
Oh, a sincere passion. True as a needle to a pole, or the dial to the sun.
But, Mr. Scribble...
My dear?
Do you think me as handsome as Clarissa? Or Clementina, or Pamela, or Sophie Weston, or Amelia, or Narcissa, or...
Handsome? You are a constellation of all their beauties blended together. Clarissa and Sophie and the rest of them were but mere types of you. But, my little charmer, what was the meaning of all that uproar just now that I heard, and of you being locked up in this manner?
You.
I?
Yes, you. You were the meaning of it. They brought me an odious fellow for a husband, and so I told them my utter aversion, and that I was enamoured with you and you alone, and my attachment to the inviolable, to my dear Mr. Scribble.
Oh, the deuce you did. You need not blush to own your passion for me, to be sure, but things are not quite ripe yet.
Yes, they were ripe and ripe enough. What, do you think I don't know how to manage for the
No,
best?
to be sure, but then there's being kept under lock and key, like the old curmudgeon strongbox. Spoils the finest scheme.
What scheme?
Why, a scheme to bring matters to issue at once. I was in hopes of securing you forever, this very day. I intended to have stolen slyly downstairs with you, made a silent escape into the street, have squeezed you into a chair in a twinkling, had you conveyed to my lodging, and have strutted thither with a, by your leave, Gemmin, before your chair in this very livery.
A most excellent contrivance. We must put it into execution. How can we manage it? Let's make our escape out of the window.
Oh, I'm expected to be excused.
Let us force the lock then, or take the screws off it, or we could contrive...
Steph, here's somebody coming.
What? Hush, hush, stop. It's only Nurse.
Where's Mr. Scribble?
Oh, Mrs. Nurse, is it you? I'm heartily glad to see you.
Oh, Nursey, you frightened us out of our wits. I thought it had been Papa or Mamma.
Chicken, I've taken care of you, Mamma, but I must not stay long. Mr. Honeycombe bought her the key in a perilous fury, with orders to let nobody go near you except himself. I can't but choose laugh. I prevailed on Madam to take a glass extraordinary of a cordial, and have left her fast asleep in her own chamber.
The loveliest thing in the world. Now, Mr. Scribble, let us put your stratagem into practice in an instant.
With all my heart. I wish we were out of this house.
Away. Away, then.
Softly, chicken, softly. Let me go before to see there's nobody in the way. Come gently downstairs. I'll set open the door of your cage, and you may take wing as fast as you please. Fly, you're a sweet pair of turtles. Come on, then.
Turtles, indeed. Come, my dear. We too, when we woo, Bill. And coo.
Very well. Remember, you're to go before me in the chair. This is the finest adventure I've ever had in my life.
I'm not at all well today. Oh, such a quantity of tea in the morning makes one quite nervous. And Mr. Honeycombe doesn't choose to drink it qualified. Oh, I have such a dizziness in my head. It almost turns around with me. I don't think neither that the hysteric water is warm enough for my stomach. I must speak to Mr. Dewlip to order me something rather more comfortable. Oh.
Did you call, madam?
Nurse, is it you? No, I didn't call. Where's Mr. Honeycombe?
Below stairs in the parlour, madam. I did not think she'd have waked so soon. If she should miss the key now before I have an opportunity to lay it down again.
What to say, nurse?
Say, ma'am, say. Yes, I say. I hope you're feeling a little better, ma'am.
Oh, no, nurse, I'm perfectly giddy with my nerves and so low-spirited.
Oh, poor gentle woman. Suppose I give you a sup out of this case of Italian cordials, ma'am, that was sent as a present from Mr. What-you-call-him from Crutched Friars. The Italian merchant with a long name.
Filthy poison. No, I don't mention it. Oh, I hate the very names of them. You know, nurse, I never touch any cordials but what come from the apothecaries. What o'clock is it? Is it time to take my draught?
By my troth, I believe it is.
Oh.
Let me see. I believe this is it. Oh, the stomachic draught to be taken an hour before dinner for Mrs. Honeycombe. Aye, this is it. By my troth, I am glad I've got rid of the key again.
Come then, pour it into the cup and give it to me. I'm afraid I can't take it. It goes sadly against me.
Run, John, run! After him immediately. Harry, do you run too? Stick close to Mr. Ledger. Don't return without them for your life.
Good luck. They're discovered the surest day.
Oh, Lord, nurse, what's the matter?
I don't know, by my troth.
Oh, sweeting. Oh, there, I'm glad you've come. I was so frightened about you.
Soon's, my dear.
Oh, don't swear, my dear.
Soon's is enough like a parson swear. You have let Polly escape. She's run away with some fella.
But you perfectly astonish me, my dear. I can't possibly conceive. My poor head aches to such a degree. Oh, where's the key to her chamber?
Here it is, madam.
Soon's, I tell you.
Well, here's the key, my sweeting. It's absolutely impossible. It's lain here ever since you brought it to me. Not a soul has touched it. Have they
Not a creature. I'll take my Bible oath on.
I tell you she's gone, I'm sure on't. Mr. Ledger saw a strange footman put her into a chair at the corner of the street, and he and John and a whole posse had gone in pursuit of them.
Oh, this is the most extraordinary circumstance. It's quite beyond my comprehension. But my sweetie mustn't be angry with his own dear wife. It wasn't her fault.
Nay, my love, don't trifle now.
Oh, I must, I will.
Zoons, my dear, be quiet. I shall have my girl ruined forever.
This way, bring them along.
Hark, they're coming. And Mr. Ledger's overtaken them. They're here.
Here, Mr. Honeycombe is in this room. Come along. Here they are, Mr. Honeycombe. We've brought them back again. Here they are, madam.
Hearty, hussy. I've a good mind to turn you out of doors immediately. You're a disgrace to your family. You're a shame.
Stay, my dear. Don't put yourself in such a passion. Polly, observe what I say to you. Let me know the whole circumstance of this affair. I don't at all understand. Tell me, I say.
Don't I have no patience? Hearty, hussy. Where was you going? Who does this fella belong to? Where does he live? Who is he?
This gentleman, Papa, is Mr. Scribble.
This is Mr. Scribble.
The very man, sir, at your service, an humble admirer of Miss Honeycombe.
Yes, Papa, this is Mr. Scribble, the sovereign of my heart, the sole object of my affections.
What can the meaning be of all this?
Why, you beggarly slut! What will you run away from your family with a fella in livery, a footman?
A footman? Oh, very good. A footman.
A footman, eh, my dear? An errand boy, a scoundrel fellow in livery. A good joke, Faith.
Why, Papa, don't you know that every gentleman disguises himself in the course of an amour? Don't you remember that Bob Lovelace disguised himself like an old man and Tom Ramble like an old woman? No adventure can be carried out without it.
Certainly mad, stark mad. Harky, sir, who are you? I'll have you sent to the compter. You shall give an account of yourself before the Lord Mayor.
What care I for my Lord Mayor? Or a whole court of aldermen? Hark ye, old greybeard, I am a gentleman as well known as any in this city.
Upon my word, I believe so. He seems a very proper gentleman-like young man.
As well known as any in the city? No, I don't believe it. He's no good man. I'm sure he's not known upon the change.
Yes, damn, sir, what do you mean?
Ho! Mr. Gentleman, is it you? I thought I knew your voice, and your face too. Pray, sir, don't you live with Mr. Travers, the attorney of Gracechurch Street? Did not you come to me last week about a policy of insurance?
Oh, the devil. I come to you, sir. I never saw your face before.
Good lack, he'll certainly be discovered.
An attorney's clerk? Hark, your friend.
Egad, I'd best sneak off before it's worst.
Hark, you woman. I begin to suspect. Have not I heard you speak of a kinsman clerk to Mr. Travers? Stop it.
Hands off, gentlemen. Well then, I do go through a little business for Mr. Travers. What then? What have you to say to me now then, sir?
Do pray, Mamma, take Mr. Scribble's part, pray do.
Do, ma'am, speak a good word for him.
I understand nothing at all of the matter.
You hark, you one. He's your nephew. I'm sure on't. I'll turn you out of doors immediately. You shall be dismissed.
I beg upon my knees, Your Honour, that you will forgive me. I meant no harm. Heaven above knows.
No harm? Would to marry my daughter? I'll have you sent to Newgate. And you sorry baggage. Do you see what he was about? He was running away with a beggar, with your nurse's nephew, hussy.
Lord, Papa, what signifies whose nephew he is? He may be ne'er the worse for that. Who knows? He may be a foundling, and a gentleman's son, as well as Tom Jones. My mind is resolved, and nothing shall ever alter it.
Brave Miss Polly, a fine, generous spirit, Faith.
You're an impudent slut. You're undone.
Hey, but look ye, Polly. Mind me, child. You know that I...
As for my poor Mamma here, she is a little nervous in her way this morning. When she comes to herself and Mr. Julep's drafts have taken proper effect, she'll be convinced I'm in the right.
Hold your abundance. Hark you, Polly.
My angelic Mr. Scribble.
Ma chère adorable.
You may depend on my constancy and affection. I never read of any lady's giving up her lover to submit to the absurd election of her parents. I'll have you let what will be the consequence. I'll have you, though we go through as many distresses as Booth and Amelia.
Peace, hussy!
And as for you, you odious wretch, how could they imagine that I would dream of such a creature? A great he-monster. I would have soon been married to the Staffordshire giant. I hate you. You are as deceitful as Blitheville, as rude as the Hallows, and as ugly as Dr. Slop.
Mighty well, miss. Mighty well.
Prodigious humour. High fun, Faith.
She's downright raving, mad as a March hare. I'll get her put in Bedlam. I'll send her to her relations in the country. I'll have her shut up in a nunnery. Oh,
Come, my sweeting, don't make yourself so uneasy.
as for you, sir, hark ye, stripling.
Nay, nay, old gentleman, no bouncing. You're mistaken in your man, sir. I know what I'm about.
Soon, sir, I know.
Yes, sir. And I know that I've done nothing contrary to the 26th of the King. Above a month ago, sir, I took lodgings in Miss Polly's name and mine in the parish of St George's in the Fields. The banns have been asked 3 times, and I could have married Miss Polly today. So much for that. And so, sir, your servant, if you offer to detain me, I shall bring my action on the case for false imprisonment, sue out a bill of Middlesex, and upon a nom est inventus, if you abscond, a latitat, then an alias, a plurius, a nonamitus, and so on. Or perhaps I may indict you at the sessions, bring the affair by sartoriari into Bankum Regis, etc., etc., etc. And now, stop me at your peril.
I am stunned with his jargon, and confounded by his impudence. Hark you, woman. I'll have you committed to Newgate House.
Mighty well, Your Honour. Fine treatment for an old servant indeed. I, that have had the dear puppet in my arms and kissed it and suckled it and dandled it ever since it was a month old. I, to be often dinged about at this rate. But 'tis an old saying and a true one. Give a dog a new name and hang him. Live and learn, as they say. We grow older and older every day. Service is no inheritance in these ages. There are more places than parish churches, so you may do as you please, Your Honour. But I shall look at my things, give up a month's wages for want of a month's warning, and go my ways out of your house immediately.
Why, you old bedlam! I'll have you carted. You shall be burned for a witch. I'll put an end to this matter at once. Mr. Ledger, you shall marry my daughter tomorrow morning.
Not I, indeed, my friend. No, I give up my interest for her. She'd make a terrible wife for a sober citizen. Who can answer for her behaviour? No, I would not underwrite her for 90%.
See there, see there. My girl is undone. Her character is ruined with all the world. These damn storybooks. What shall we do, Mrs. Honeycombe? What shall we do?
Look here, my dear. You've been wrong in every particular.
Wrong? I? Wrong?
Quite wrong, my dear. I wouldn't expose you before company. My tenderness, you know, is so great. But leave the whole affair to me. You're too violent. Go, my dear, go and compose yourself, and I'll set matters to rights. Don't you do anything of your own head now. Trust it all to me, my dear. Be sure you do, my love.
I shall go mad with vexation. I shall. Was ever man so heartily provoked? You see now, gentlemen, what a situation I'm in. Instead of happiness and jollity, my friends and family about me, a wedding and a dance and everything as it should be, here am I left by myself. Deserted by my intended son-in-law, bullied by an attorney's clerk, my daughter mad, my wife in the vapours, and all's in confusion. This comes of cordials and novels. Zoons, you stomachaches of the devil, and a man might as well turn his daughter loose in Covent Garden as trust the cultivation of her mind to a circulating library.
My poor papa's in a woeful agitation, while I, the cause, feel here no palpitation. We girls of reading and of superior notions, who from the fountainhead drink love's sweet potions, pity our parents when such passion binds them. One hears the good folks rave, one never minds them. Till those dear books infused their soft ingredients, ashamed and fearful I was all obedience. Then my father did not storm in vain. I blushed and cried, I'll ne'er do so again. But now no bugbears can my spirit tame. I've conquered fear. I've almost conquered shame. So much those dear instructors change and win us. Without their light, we ne'er should know what's in us. Here we at once supply our childish wants. Novels are hotbeds for your forward plants. Not only sentiments refine the soul, but hence we learn to be smart and droll. Each awkward circumstance for laughter serves, from nurse's nonsense to my mother's nerves. Though parents tell us our genius lies in mending linen and making pies, I set such formal precepts at defiance that preach up prudence, neatness, and compliance. Leap those old bounds and boldly set the pattern to be wit, philosopher, and slattern. Oh, maids and wives, if you all did my spirit feel, we'd make this topsy-turvy world to reel. Let us to arms. Our fathers, husbands, dare. Novels will teach us the art of war. Our tongues will serve as trumpet and drum. I'll be your leader, General Honeycombe. Too long has human nature gone astray. Daughters should govern, parents should obey. Man should submit the moment he weds, and hearts of oak should yield to wiser heads. Oh, I see you smile, bold Britons, but 'tis true. Beat you the French, but let your wives beat you.